I took y'all way back. Okay, so I'm doing a pop-up. And the reason for this pop-up is that I need to get some work done. And I also felt like I needed to just connect with folks. So if you happen to be here and you're watching live, this is what we're going to do. I'm running behind. Admittedly, I'm running behind and I need to prepare for a guest that is going to be on my live stream show tomorrow afternoon. So I figured, why don't I walk you through the process that I'm going to take to achieve this and to make sure that I properly promote this person and their bio and all of their information. So I'm going to show you the actual GPT process that I use. I'm using Chat GPT for this to start out with. And there's a couple of other tools. I'll use Canva. I'll use Chat GPT. I will use a transcript from the conversation that the guest and I had ahead of time. So if you're someone who is actually hosting guests, one of the best things you can do is to have a conversation ahead of your actual live stream. And why? There's a lot of reasons why, but for one thing, you want to get to know the person so that you can have a rapport with them so that you flow well, when you get onto the camera. And then another reason is because you want to vet and validate that that is the right person for your show. So I'm not doing anything too fancy tonight. I don't have a bunch of fancy gear and all that stuff. I literally am doing a working session. So you're welcome to stay as long as you choose. And if you have questions you want to pop into the chat, put those in there and I will answer as best I can. I'm watching for comments. I do see a couple of people that have shown up. This is not our normal night. I just happen to be in a live stream mode because I've been doing a lot of it today. Okay. So here we go. Let's do this and just say hello if you're over there. I see some folks that are on YouTube. I see some folks on Substack as well. Hello. Let me pull up my Substack comments to make sure that I have those. And I literally am just going to talk you through as I'm processing the information that I need to put together for the promotion of my guest interview, which is happening tomorrow. Now, I usually like to do this way ahead of time and just have everything ready to go the day before, but I don't do anything. I don't promote guest interviews too far ahead. You can guess why. You might want to put it in there. Let me see if you can guess. I'll see in the chat what you come up with. But why would you not promote an interview with a live stream guest too far ahead of time? What's one reason why you might pause? And I'm going to go ahead and pull up my folks that are over here in Substack. Hey, Substack folks, I see you. Okay. So here's my reason, since no one put it in the chat just yet. I know some folks are still coming in. One of the reasons why you want to be careful that you don't promote too far ahead is, well, hi, Georgia. Yes, I can say hello to Georgia. Let me pop this up real quick here. Let's see. We got a comment. Georgia, good to see you. I don't know if that's you in the photo or not, but hello. One of the reasons why you would not want to, yes, Bishop Donald Oliver. Okay, he gets an award. You said things change. Exactly. And it's not just that things change, because I really do try to be clear on vetting my guests ahead of time. I share all of the details with them. I am very timely and prompt. I ensure that they have multiple notifications and alerts so that they know what to expect and when to be live and all of those things. But you're right, Bishop. Sometimes people might have something come up. Life could happen. And if it does, I don't want to be sitting on a show with an empty seat, right? That's not my favorite thing to do. So I am going to walk you through. I'm just simply going to go through and kind of walk through my process. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I see some folks that are saying hello. So hello back. The thing that I'm going to do first is to pull up, let's do this. We'll pull up ChatGPT since that's what I'm going to work with. And I'm going to paste in the transcript from the conversation that the guest and I had. Okay. So let me do that and I'll pull it up to where you can see. Good evening, Deb. Bathrobe guy. What's up? Robes. That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to pull up ChatGPT and then I'm going to go ahead and put this on screen and we're going to paste into the chat. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull up my GPT for my profiler. So I developed a GPT called Paul, the podcast profiler. So you'll get to see that and have fun with me. Just chilling in your robe, the bathroom guy, bathrobe guy. Let me get that right. Bathroom guy. That's funny. Okay, let's share screen. Hold on. I'm getting it up there. Okay. So what I am going to do is I'm going to pull up my GPT, Paul, and let's see if we have him over here in the sidebar. If not, I've got to go pull him. Where are you at, Paul? All right. So Paul is not there. So I'm going to go to my GPTs and I'm going to pull my Paul guy. And we're just going to work on this together. And maybe you'll get some ideas from it. I don't know. But I had to get it done. So I thought, why not just do this live? So Paul, the podcast profiler, what Paul is able to do for me is I have trained this GPT specifically to take information from various parts of the process when I'm about to actually do a guest interview. I don't do very many anymore. I do 2 a month at the most. And that is something that I came to a decision about last year. So when I actually have guests come live, first of all, there's 2 ways that I typically end up getting guests, actually 3. One way is that I have people approach and say, hey, I'm interested in being on your show. And so then I'll invite them to set up a coffee chat so we can talk and I can share with them more details about the show and we can make a decision about whether or not it's a good fit. Hello from Houston, Texas. Good to see you. The second way is I have other people that refer that person to the show. And the third way is that I actually use Podmatch. And yes, the name of my GPT is Paul, the podcast profiler. I just came up. I always name my GPTs when I create them, right? Because they have a personality. And so Podmatch is an excellent way to actually have referrals from a systematic platform that is run by the Sanfilippo's. So Alex Sanfilippo and his wife, his beautiful wife, came up with that concept, and it really works well. It's like $6 a month, and so it's a great way for you to actually have people matched up to you as a potential podcast guest, depending on what information you've put in about your show. So here's what we're going to do with Paul. What I'm going to do with Paul first, what will we do with him first? Because we need to get this done tonight before I can go to sleep. First, I'm going to paste in the transcript from the conversation that we had. So the guest and I had a conversation, and I'm not going to pull that yet. Here's what I am going to do. I'm going to do 2 things. I know it is a rite of passage, right? I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to pull up Traft, and Traft is actually now my go-to. I'm not signed in. Let me sign in off screen. Let me do that real quick. Traft is now my go-to, or has been my go-to for a while, as a scheduling tool. It's a booking tool that I use. And I use it for pretty much anybody that I'm going to be scheduling for appointments. I will pull up, or I will offer them to schedule appointments through Traft. So let me give you an example. If somebody goes to Stream Like a Boss TV and you want to book a discovery call, I'll show you how this works. So you'll actually be booking, and this is a Traft calendar right here. If you were interested in being on the show, then I have a guest registration form that I do not make public, but I do allow when someone has been referred to me or matched up to me, they get that link. So I'm not going to share the link right now, but I have these links ready. And so what the person is able to do is when they book the interview, and I will pull that up for you. Let me pull up a draft appointment for that. They're answering a number of different questions. So we're doing a couple of things at once. One thing I'm doing is I'm actually giving them the opportunity to go ahead and enter their information. So this is after we've done our coffee chat and we know for sure they're approved. Then what I have is this little page right here. So please complete this brief form to help us understand your expertise. And due to a high volume of interest, we only respond to applicants who meet our current strategic needs. If you're a good fit, we'll send you a formal invitation. And I do this literally because I often have people that will reach out just out of the blue to be on the show. And that's just not the way that I roll. I really do prefer referrals and I want to make sure it's a good match. And so we do need to ensure that people are invited or pre-vetted by myself or a member of our team. And I let them know right here that if you haven't already had that, then your application may not be approved. So when they go and they book, and like I said, I do a maximum of 2 per month. So I have my calendar set up accordingly, but I want to show you something that happens. Okay. So if someone were to book this, they're going to go through the form and everything is in one place so that I have 2 things happening. They are booking or asking to book the appointment or the interview, but they're also filling out the form with our agreement. And so in this, what they're doing is they're actually sharing with me the type of topic or theme that they're an expert and best prepared to discuss. They're sharing their radio bio, which is a short bio. I don't need a super long 3 pages full of bios about them, but I do need a bio that we can use as their condensed version. They upload their headshot, and all of this information ends up being here in Trapped. So I'm not going to pull up her personal information here for everyone to see, but I am going to show you, I'm going to walk you through my process. Okay. So when I go to Paul, I'm going to say, hey, Paul, based on the transcript I'm attaching, what are some key topics? Actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me back up. I'm going to just click start. Let's do this. And I'm going to let it ask me some questions. Let's get prepped. Who is the guest? Drop their key links. This is what I needed it to ask me. And I'll come back and I'll put the transcript in here in a few minutes. Okay. So the guest is going to be, let me find her info real quick. And I'm going to be very selective about what I put in here. So I'm going back into my draft where I just showed you the calendar and how she was booked. And I'm going into my appointments area and I'm pulling up her information so I can see everything about her. Okay. Okay. So her name is Jennifer Bennett. And Traft, by the way, is not only reminding me, by the way, it is reminding her. So it gave her a 3-day notice, it gave her a 1-day notice, and then it will give her a 1-hour notice. And it's doing the same thing for me so that I know I'm getting a text message and I'm getting emails. And so I'm like, oh, I have a guest coming up tomorrow. I need to remember to go ahead and get prepped and, have everything ready to promote and to share. So I got all that earlier today and actually yesterday too. I've just been super busy. So we're going to put in Jennifer. And Jennifer, I'm looking forward to talking with you tomorrow. Jennifer Bennett is the guest. We're going to paste her bio, and the radio bio that I already asked her for is what is going in here. So we're going to paste that radio bio. And then let's see, their key links is something else I want to pull from Traft. Here, we'll make that bigger. Do it like that so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So we'll pull her key links, which are what? Oh, she has a school community. I also asked them for any main URLs that take people to their specific website, or any information that they want to share for two reasons. One, because I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to share. But secondly, because I also want to make sure I have as much information as I can get about them. And so Paul, the podcast profiler, is helping to go and sift through the information about them so that it can give me the best possible questions. I don't do just standard questions for everybody. I like to customize my questions. And that's the reason why I actually created this GPT. So Paul has asked me for the guest name, the bio, the website, primary social platforms, podcast, video, or article that I want to reference. I'm not going to reference anything specifically. I will tell it this. I'll go ahead and paste that transcript. So let me go pull that. So I'm going to pull a transcript from when she and I spoke, from our conversation in the coffee chat, because it was a great conversation, lots of flow. And during that conversation, we talked about what we were going to cover and what would really be good and useful for our audience. So I'm going to pull that info right now. Let's go in here and pull it. And if you do have questions, even if it's not on this, just holler and let me know. Put it in the chat and I'll pull it up. Okay, we're going to be talking about balancing AI and authenticity when it comes to content creation, which is going to be a really good topic, I think. So I am going to go ahead and paste this. I'm going to say, we talked about the following. No, we talked. I'm going to say review the transcript, the attached transcript for suggestions on the best topic for us to cover in my live stream. Okay, and then I'm just going to paste that. So now I put all of that in there. Now I could use agent mode, but I don't necessarily need it. I could if I wanted to go really, really super in depth with the person. And sometimes I do. It just depends on the person. But what I want you to see, let me blow this back up. You don't need to see me for this. Love this conversation. There's a very clear through line here, and it's exactly the kind of grown-up visibility conversation your audience needs right now. Okay. So it's giving me a best live stream topic for us to talk about. AI is a tool, not your identity, how visionary leaders stay visible without losing their voice, values, or authority. This might be a little too long for me, but it gives me a start. It gives me something to work with. So the transcript repeatedly circles identity erosion. So this is what she and I had a really great conversation about. And we're going to talk about, let's see, being the adult in the room, not anti-AI, but not hype AI either. I love this. This is what I wanted to talk about with her, and this is what we're going to cover. Okay, so some core angles. AI amplifies what's already there. Being known for the wrong thing is a business risk. Yeah, we got some good stuff. Okay. It just goes on to talk about her. And then it says, what do you want me to do? I want you to go ahead and focus on the primary topic. Because they recommended that, and because I do agree with what they've put in here. Once you choose, I'll immediately create. So it creates a cold open for me, the intro, a set of custom questions that I'm going to ask my person. It gives me all the things I want. And I was very thoughtful about this because I was doing this manually previously. And when I sat down and I looked at my SOP, my standard operating procedure for hosting podcast guests, what I figured out is that there were specific assets that I needed. So when I created Paul, the profile, the podcast profiler, say that 3 times really fast. Peter Piper picked a pepper. Can anybody say that? I can't say that. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. Anyway, Paul, the podcast profiler, lots of P's. When I created him, I was looking to make sure that it gave me all these specific assets. So it's giving me a cold open, it's giving me the full intro, the guest interview, short bio for show notes, interview question flow. It's giving me all the stuff that I need. It's even giving me a potential title, which I'll mess around with. It's giving me some alternate titles, visibility without losing your voice or values. I think I kind of like that one, but I also want to make sure people are clear that it's about AI not becoming your identity. It's even giving me a live stream promotional caption. So I can add this when I get ready to set things up. And here's my guest intro email, which I already have sent her an intro email through Traft, my system. So what I will do is I will set up another email that will give her all the proper links that she's going to need. But first I'm going to work on, there's a couple of things I need to work on. Now, one thing I want you to see, and I'm not going to show too much here. One thing I want you to know is that the important thing is that I don't want my interviews to be cookie cutter. So if you're thinking about your own podcast, how do you ensure that you don't have these cookie cutter shows where you're interviewing the same people that everybody's interviewing all day long? And when you get them on your channel, you talk to them about the same boring topics that every other interviewer has talked to them about. That, again, is the reason why I created the GPT, this Paul, because I wanted to explore angles that were right for the person that I'm bringing on camera and right for my audience. So Paul knows my background and knows my context of how the show runs and can basically say, yes, this is a great interviewee for you, or meh, I'm not sure. We're going to have to really kind of spin this. Like, it'll be honest with me and tell me based on how I've trained it. Okay. Let me double check a couple of things over here. D, hey, what's up? Love this behind the scenes. Yeah, I just felt like I needed to get on. I just needed to be on here with y'all and to serve. Like I told somebody the other day, sometimes when you're feeling a little low and you're feeling like something is heavy on you, it can really come off of your back if you're serving other people. You don't think about it and worry about it so much. And so I'm there in this moment. I would rather serve you in this way than to sit and sulk. So that's what I'm doing. No problem, D. Okay. So core angles to explore. So we pulled this, they pulled all of this from the transcript, and I'm going to now do a couple of things. One, I want to, now I usually use Restream, but lately I have started rethinking my strategy for that for a couple of reasons. I have asked again and again and again, can you please give me some updated features, people? And it just seems like they have been a little bit behind the 8 ball. I'm seeing Ecamm Live is updating their features. StreamYard, which is what I'm using right now, has updated their features. Like, everybody's doing updates, and I just need them to get on board. And one of the updates I want them to do is to do this simultaneous vertical and horizontal layout. Like, I love this. I love that I get to stream in both sizes at the same time, and they're not letting me do this. Dan Tana, what? What is up, sir? I love it. Love, love, love to see you always, of course. Okay. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to do it as though I'm doing it in Restream, and you can kind of see how I'm plugging in things. Now, the other thing I want to do from Traft, because remember, I told you I pulled all of her information, and one of the things ahead of time that I ask my guest for as they're booking the call is their headshots. So, I'm going to show y'all a secret. Let me try to find, I got to go find her headshot real quick. And remember that the one thing that is important is you need to have an agreement. So in your podcast agreement for your guests, you need to make sure you've done due diligence to get their permission for using their image in the right way and all of those other things, right? Because nowadays, when I create a thumbnail, I'm usually doing something AI generated. And it's not going to look like I'm not making the person look crazy. We're not doing that. But I am creating a setup, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like I used Whisk, which is a Google product. Okay. So Whisk is a Google Labs product. And let's make sure we go ahead and get signed in. Hopefully, oh man, I hope it's not going to make me start all over. It might, but we'll try. Let's see what it does. Isn't this cute? This does the cutest stuff. Look at that. Let me pull it up so y'all can really see it. But I thought that was the cutest little image that it made of me for my multiplier prompt toolkit. But it also gave me some other options. I don't know why these are in the way. Okay, I'm trying to find one with a guest so that you can see what I'm talking about. Whisk is one of my favorites, by the way. And I think I've said this multiple times. So for those of you who follow me, you've heard me say Whisk does an excellent job at making your images look a lot more like you. Okay, where is it? I'm trying to find one with a recent guest oh, there it is. Yay. Okay, there she is. So I was able to create an image for our podcast with my guest, Virginia Elder, using this. So it looked like we were seated side by side. And so this is what I'm going to do with me and Jennifer is I'm going to create a thumbnail. And then after I create it in Whisk and get it to where I want it to be, I go into Canva. I'm just giving y'all all my behind the scenes secrets so you can kind of see what this looks like, right? All right. And so notice, and then I just added this. And the way that I was able to move the words behind us is I did a grab. So, now you can do a whole lot of things with Canva where you can do an edit and then you can do magic grab. And so I grabbed us from the front and put the words in the back. And then it turned out beautifully. So I'm going to do one of these for Jennifer and I. And I got to sit and think a little bit, which I can't really do while I'm live, but I'm going to sit and think about how I want to actually verbiage it. Like, what do I want to put on here? When you're creating thumbnails, you have to be careful that you're not putting too many words. I know some of y'all like to put like a whole book. You're making it into a poster, but that is not what the thumbnail is supposed to be. It's not a miniature poster for you, depending on where you're using it. And for me, since I'm pretty much promoting YouTube as my main spot these days and similar platforms, I don't want to have a whole lot of words on it, but I need enough words to where it's easily identifiable. So if you think about Netflix and if you're scrolling through Netflix and you're trying to figure out, what do I want to watch? you're not trying to sit there and squint and read through words. You're looking at the image. You're seeing the expressions, the facial expressions, and you're seeing if they have big words that clearly tell you what it is you're picking. And that is the point. So, what I will do is I will create a similar thumbnail for myself and for my guest so that we can have this entered into Restream. So I'm going to be doing that in a little bit with Jennifer's headshot that she's uploaded for me already. And then what we will do next after we've done that is we will go into Restream, and I'm pretty sure I have to sign in here. Dang it. Ugh. We'll go into Restream. It's going to ask me to authenticate. So let me do that really fast off screen. Let me respond to this request. Okay. Gosh, y'all, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy day. How are you anyway? Tell me how you're doing in the chat. I would love to know. Like, what's on your mind? What's something that you're excited about? We're going to keep it positive in here. So, what is something you're excited about for this week? Because it's still early in the week and there's enough time for something really amazing, some abundant blessings to come your way. So, what are you looking for? I had a very big surprise that was actually a great surprise. I had some good things happen to me today, and I want to know if you're having good things happen to you. And if not so far, what are you looking for? What would you like to happen? Let's speak it into existence. Okay, so here we go. This is my Restream. So I'm going to show you what I do, and then I'm going to do it. Okay. So Restream, I usually do a new stream. I go to Restream Studio. I'm not really going to use Restream for the actual event, but I use this to ensure that everything is set up and sent out, and because it reduces the amount of bandwidth that I need in order to broadcast using Ecamm Live, which is my primary platform for my pro live streams that I use. Okay. So what I'm using tonight is StreamYard. This is not my pro. This is simply because I wanted to jump on real quick and not worry about graphics and creating scenes and all of that. So I'm just going to pretend that we're setting this up for tomorrow, which I will be doing after I jump off here in a little bit. And I'm going to do a schedule. Okay. So when I get ready to schedule, I'm going to type in, remember, we pulled this up when I did my chat GPT. Paul was helping me with some ideas and gave me some good ideas. Let's see, some alternate titles. Because I really thought that the first one was way too long. Posting more isn't the answer. For now, we're just going to put this. We're just going to do this and I'll come back to it later because I need to think and I can't really think while I'm talking to you guys about this. But this is what I would normally do. So I'm going to put that there. I'm then going to do a little research. I have a couple of tools that allow me to research the title to make sure that it is something that's going to be truly searchable and a good fit. So I don't know that I would land with this one, honestly. I might end up going over to vidIQ or to Subscriber and checking to see what's a better fit for this description. But then I'm going to go to Paul, and Paul has given me, let's see what he's given me. He's given me my guest bio. He's also given me the promo caption. So I can just use this for now to get by. And then we can go in and update this a little bit later too. So AI can scale your message, but it shouldn't replace your voice. I don't love the M dashes, so we'll replace that. This week, I'm joined by Jennifer Bennett to talk about how visionary leaders stay visible, credible, and grounded while using AI as a tool, not an identity. If you felt the pull to keep up without losing yourself, this conversation is for you. And so then we go ahead and put in the time, and tomorrow it is at 4 p.m. I'm going to have to come back and do all of this in a little bit. And then we'll pull our thumbnail that we're going to create into here, go to next, select the different spaces where we're going to go, and then create the event. So this is what I do. Now, after I get done with all of that, I'm going to send a link to my guest in an email. And when I send that link, not just one link, but I'm going to send her the link reminding her again of where to meet me. But I'm also going to do this. And let me show you with a previous one what this looks like. This is how you promote ahead of time. Okay. There's a couple of different ways. And for you Substack folks, I'm going to give you a bonus tip in just a second because it's a little bit different with Substack. There's a little bit tricky. So notice up here, this is one that has been scheduled previously. Okay. So all of these are active. These are active links. So when I click on these, I now have the official link where we're going to be live. Like the thumbnail that I uploaded and everything else is like my miniature promo. So because I have this link, I'm able to let my guest know, hey, guest, here's all the places where we're going to be live. And here's the links so you can share them with your friends. And I'm attaching the thumbnail so you can use this as far as or if you like, right? Because if they don't use that thumbnail, doesn't matter because they're using the link, which is taking them there anyway to the specific pages where we're going to be live. The other thing that Restream and now StreamYard allow you to do is you can pair channels. So you can tell your guest, hey, if you want to rebroadcast this, click this link and connect to your channels. So that way you're getting the maximum benefit of being able to not only book this thing and handle the promo, but you're arming and equipping your guest with the ability to promote the event as well. So the last thing I guess I'll show you before I have to actually go and do all these things, because I really need to focus and get this done before I sleep tonight. Let me do this. I was going to show you my Substack people. Okay, Substackers. Here's what you're going to do, because what happens when you set up your Substack Live, you're going to get the stream key, right? And you're going to plug the stream key. Let me go back to Restream so you can see this. Okay, Dee said, yes, you need that. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, this is one I've already done. So I'll just pop in there. And every single time you will have to do this for now until they change this. Hey, Colette. Before they change this, right now in this moment, as of February 9th, 2026, you're going to have to do this every time you use a third-party tool with your Substack. And the reason why you would use a third-party streaming platform for your Substack is if you want to go live via desktop and get the benefits of the features like the pop-up comments and multi-streaming to other spaces and all of that, right? So because I want to do all of those things, I use another tool. Now you can actually natively or inside of the Substack app, just use their desktop app. But I never use that because I want the extra. And I typically don't just go live in Substack. I go live to YouTube and other spaces. So here's what you have to do every single time. What I've done is I've named an RTMP. So when you add channels for whatever your particular platform is, you're going to look for one that says RTMP, unless they have Substack, which so far I haven't seen any. I'm lying. Look at that. There's one right there. Boom. So you can click on Substack and type in Substack here. And if you got multiple Substacks, you'll want to name it. But the stream key is what goes here. So when you go and you create your live and you copy the stream key, which is the second link. So the second set of numbers, there's two. You really don't need the top one most of the time. But the second one on the bottom, you're going to paste that in here. Every single time you go live, you need the one that goes to your specific live stream that you're going to be doing. Okay. So keep that in mind. And then you're going to add that channel. So that way I go in here and I update this. Now, I won't be able to just share this out like I would another post. So for instance, if I wanted to go to YouTube, I can click this and it's going to take me directly to the YouTube video. Same thing is not going to happen here. But what I can do is I will schedule the post in my Substack. And then once it's been scheduled, so if I were creating a live right here, okay, and I got to be careful because I'm already live. It's not going to let me do it. But see where it says go live with stream key down here? If I were to do that, what it's going to ask me to do then is going to give me the ability to be able to, dang, I'm not trying to do all of that. I'm trying to go, let's go here. What it's going to do is it's going to let me, it's going to say, hey, do you want to share a note? And I always share a note. And I'm going to show you this. I always share the note with my thumbnail. Okay. So I'm trying to find one recently that I've done. There we go. Boom. Okay. So this is the last one. I actually have 2 more I need to publish in Substack. When you actually send, so this is the live stream link, D, but I'm sharing that in addition to my thumbnail so that it stands out in the feed. Because I'm promoting my stuff ahead of time. So you have 3 opportunities to be able to promote your video content. 1 is before, 2 is during, and 3 is afterwards. So why the heck not? Promote, promote, promote. Use all of those opportunities to make sure that your video is getting out there and that people have a chance to see it, right? Okay, so that is what I'm going to be doing after this. It is problematic because you can't, if you schedule the Substack live, it's literally, you've got to go back and find the stream key. And here's something that I did find out in case you missed this too. When you're in your Substack, and let me pull this up bigger so you can really see what I'm talking about. When you're in your Substack, if you have scheduled a live for a future date, which is what I often do, go to activity. Actually, it's home. And over here somewhere, it's going to give you your up next, right? When you click on up next for the post that you just created for your live stream, that's how you're going to go back and get your stream key. I know it's wacky and wonky, and I'm not sure why they do it that way, but that just it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what I ended up finding out. Is you need to go to home or go to activity and then find the link where you just created the scheduled live, and that's how you'll find your stream key. You have to say view stream key. Okay, this is not bad. Let's see. Let me see your question. No need to apologize at all, Colette. So please explain the pair feature on StreamYard. If not, I did not even explain it. So I'll try to talk about it now. And let me say this to Tech Troublemaker. Look, bruh, I know. I know. I enjoy Substack. I have not optimized my time there. I've got to do better. I keep saying I have to do better, but at the same time, I'm saying priorities, right? There's so many competing priorities. And so you have to figure out, as you know, what's best for you. And that hasn't been the top priority for me. My priority has been to build my YouTube channel. And that's how I finally got monetized, because I spent laser focused time and energy in building and growing that. And now I'm getting ready to, very excited, getting ready to work with one of my favorite mentors, which I won't share yet, to really go all in on my YouTube channel. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so let's answer question. Pair feature on StreamYard. Let's go to StreamYard. I don't know if I'll be able to do this while I'm in it, but we're going to try. So StreamYard, I'm going to pull that up real quick here. And if you wanted to pair it, where is it? I think it's when you get ready to invite a guest. And see, I need to go back through the system. And Colette, since you're in Stream Bosses Academy, don't let me forget this. If you're coming to our co-working day, remind me, ping me there, and let's do a walkthrough. I would have walked through it by then without messing up the stream because I got a feeling I probably will mess it up. But there is a way to pair, and I think it has something to do with when you invite guests. Yes. Well, there you go. Boom. So if you invite a guest, right here, you have to turn on guests can stream this to their own destinations. And then it's going to give you the option of being able to probably get a link to pair their channels. So there we go. There it is. Ooh, popped up. So when you invite your guests, just click on that drop down, the 3 dots, and it looks like you should be able to see invite or give guests the ability to invite other channels to connect their channels. Okay. What other questions? Because I'm about to wrap this up. Yeah. So Bathrobe Guy, while Substack has live streaming, it's not as polished as YouTube and such. It's still more leaning towards newsletters and writing. Absolutely. I totally agree. And what I'm not going to do is to lose my identity, this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I believe that Jennifer and I will touch on this somewhat, but the important thing is, and the algorithms work completely different. It's so true. It is so true. You know, what I'm finding about Substack is it's nice because I like the people there. I like the content that I'm able to curate more effectively there than I do in other spaces. What I don't love is that it feels like I have to do way too much because I have not made a decision to live in Substack, as some have. If I were to live and primarily do all my socials there, I probably would be a bit more successful, right? In Substack growth. But because YouTube is my choice and I'm all about being platform independent and I want to have my real estate be my real estate, my focus is primarily on people being driven to my assets, to my website, to my programs and services, to know what I can offer and do for them. Not necessarily sending them to somebody else's platform, which could be gone like this because somebody on Substack, Facebook, or wherever else doesn't like what I'm sharing. So I just have not made that decision. I agree. Bathrobe Guy says Substack is community driven. It's not a billboard where you can just post and let go. You have to be engaged. Exactly. So where I have seen growth with Substack, I'm going to say this, and then I don't want to turn it into a Substack show, but what I have seen is where I do post notes multiple times a day. I have not effectively, consistently shared my live streams as articles that people care about in their email. So I have not emailed my subscribers in a consistent, routine way because I'm busy taking care of my other email list, which is my bread and butter, that is funnels and that they're meeting me through coaching and speaking engagements and all of that stuff. So I just have not made a decision to merge the two. And honestly, I would say this, Bathrobe Guy, I would say that all social media platforms are about the community. The difference is the community, right? Like Facebook is about community. If you don't hang out, engage with other people, post there, share reels, share live streams, play in Messenger, then you're not going to get rewarded there either. Same thing with Substack. So it's just about deciding where you want to spend your time and how you want to spend that time. Like, how much do you want to spend that time? And I just haven't made that decision just yet about Substack because here's my primary reason. Some of you know this. When I first started using Substack more rigorously, within my first 3 months, every single one of my posts was deleted. It was some syncing problem with Spotify that I believe caused it. But I reached out and I kept trying to get help from Substack support, and nobody ever responded. To this day, it's been a year and a half now. No one from their support team ever responded to anything. And I was desperate at the time because I was like, oh my God, all of my videos are gone. What happened to all my posts? They're all gone. The only saving grace for me is that I'm a hoarder when it comes to my content. I have backups for the backups for all of my content, especially my videos. And so I had to go in and manually re-upload these videos and re-upload the blog posts and articles that went with them. But I missed out on all of the numbers, the metrics and things. They were just gone. So since that experience, I've been a bit timid about going all in. And I just want to share that because that's the real reason why I have not said, yeah, I'm going to do all of this 100%. Because if they, just like any other social platform, if something happens, I want assurance that I'm able to still continue to thrive. But I would suggest that every single space you're in is about community. You just have to decide how you want to play. Like, how am I going to engage? How am I going to find the people that I really feel like I vibe with the best? And then how often do I choose to post? Because all of them are going to tell you, you got to post 5,000 times a day in order to be seen, in order to be rewarded. So do you really want to spend your entire day 24/7 doing that? Because I don't. I don't want to live like that. But I will use tools and systems to help me to systematically stay visible. And I will periodically engage as I can throughout my day, but I also work. I also serve clients. I also have kids. I also have a husband, a spouse. So you got to think about priorities and what's important to you, and then decide how you're going to move in these different spaces. So we started out tonight really randomly talking about my podcast profiler, Paul. And I am going to now get off of this live stream so I can actually go and leverage Paul's assets, everything that he created for me, so that I can actually prepare for this interview for tomorrow. So if you happen to be available and you want to join us, I will make sure that we go live on Substack, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube for tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. You'll see that posted up sometime tonight because, again, I need to do it in the next 20 minutes or else I cannot sleep. That is the goal, to get this up. I hope that you have an amazing week and that something good and positive happens to you and for you. I really do. That's my wish. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're facing, my hope is that good things, nothing but good things. We have to really want that for each other right now. Because there's so much, so much working against us. So we have to lift each other up and support each other. And you are my community. This is why I love live streaming, because you folks who are here, you are family, you are friends, you are people that I care about and that I know care about me for the most part. I saw a few trolls and visitors in the chat that I didn't pop in here. But yeah. Yes, you too, tech troublemaker. Let me pop this up so that this wish goes out to everyone who is watching right now. Yes. And don't forget to hit that like button. I love that, Roy. Always, you help me to remember that so much. And I just love you for that. Always. Yes, I love this new community I have found. I love it too. Bishop Donald Oliver, D. Batiste, the bathrobe guy. Thank you for coming over on Substack and hanging out with me a little bit. And same thing for folks Dan Tana, Colette, Roy, Doug, in layman's terms. What's up? I appreciate you too. Thank you. And that's what I want. That's the reason why I show up. Not only because I get to give you some encouragement, but because I feel fulfilled as well. I know that this is a way that I can serve. And I'm just appreciative that you came to join me here. So I'll be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central, with my new guest, my next guest, who I will be preparing for right now. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you next time.